Every single night, you climb into bed, close your eyes, and essentially disappear. You hand your entire body over to autopilot and just trust it, which is adorable, honestly, because while you're off having dreams about forgetting to wear pants to your old high school, your body is in the background running a full horror show, twitching, hallucinating, shrinking, paralyzing itself. Your brain is doing the neurological equivalent of a deep clean renovation while the homeowner is blissfully unconscious in the other room. Sleep feels peaceful. Sleep looks peaceful. Sleep is, in practice, deeply, magnificently weird. And today, we're going through the 10 creepiest things your body does while you're knocked out cold. Ranked from, that's odd, all the way down to, I'm never closing my eyes again. Let's get right into it. Number 10. The falling dream that isn't a dream. You know the one. You're drifting off, everything is getting soft and warm, and then, out of absolutely nowhere, you're plummeting off a cliff. Your whole body jolts. Your legs kick. Your partner stares at you in quiet disgust. You wake up for half a second, heart sprinting, completely convinced you just narrowly survived something. You didn't. Nothing happened. Your body just lied to you. This is called a hypnic jerk, and it is your nervous system having a small, dramatic breakdown right at the threshold between consciousness and sleep. As your brain starts powering down, your muscles relax rapidly, and there's a theory that some ancient, primal part of your brain interprets that sudden muscle release as falling out of a tree. Because back when your ancestors were sleeping in actual trees, the sensation of going limp meant you were about to become something else's breakfast. So the brain fires a full-body alarm, just in case. The problem is, you don't live in a tree. You live in a house, with a mattress, and an extremely unimpressed partner. But evolution doesn't really get updated on a rolling basis, so your nervous system is still out here running firmware from 200,000 years ago, panicking every time your calves relax. What makes this even better is that hypnic jerks are more likely when you're sleep-deprived, overstimulated, or caffeinated, which, if you're watching this video, probably describes you right now. You might want to watch out tonight. Basically, your body has a built-in glitch that activates the moment you try to rest, just to remind you that peace is temporary and the ancient past never truly leaves. Number 9. Your brain starts hallucinating before you're even asleep. Imagine you're lying in the dark, almost gone, when you suddenly hear someone say your name, perfectly clearly. You sit up. Nobody's there. Or maybe you see a face float across the ceiling, just for a second, sharp as a photograph. Or you feel something touch your leg and you rip the covers off like a crime scene investigator. Congratulations! You've officially experienced hypnagogic hallucinations, and they are completely normal, wildly unsettling, and responsible for approximately 30% of all ghost stories ever told. Here's what's happening. As you slip from wakefulness into sleep, your brain doesn't cut cleanly from one mode to another. Kind of smudges. There's a brief, chaotic overlap where your conscious brain is still processing sensory input, but your dreaming brain has already started generating imagery and sound. The two systems bleed into each other, and what comes out is a hallucination that feels completely real, because neurologically, it's using the exact same machinery as actual perception. Your brain isn't broken. It's just buffering. These hallucinations can be visual, faces, shapes, flashes of light. They can be auditory, voices, sounds, music. They can even be physical, a sense of falling, floating, or being touched. People who are sleep-deprived or under stress experience them far more intensely, which is also why pulling an all-nighter tends to end with you absolutely convinced there's something in the corner of the room. Medieval people called these experiences demons. Some cultures called them spirits. Science calls them a transitional neurological phenomenon. Frankly, transitional neurological phenomenon sounds way less interesting than demon, but here we are. Number 8. Your eyes are absolutely losing it. Here's something nobody warns you about. Right now, as you picture a sleeping person, maybe yourself, maybe someone peaceful and still, you're probably imagining closed eyes. Calm. Unmoving. Serene little eyelids just doing their job. Wrong. Catastrophically wrong. During REM sleep, the stage where most of your vivid dreaming happens, your eyes are rocketing back and forth behind those eyelids like they're watching the world's most intense tennis match. Left, right, diagonal, up, hard left again. Fast. Frantic. Completely involuntary. If someone peeled back your eyelids mid-REM, which would be a horrifying thing to do, they'd see eyes that look less like resting and more like moderate panic. REM stands for rapid eye movement, which is a perfectly clinical name for what is essentially your eyeballs having a breakdown in the dark. The leading theory is that your eyes are tracking the imagery in your dreams, that your brain is generating a full visual experience and your eyes are actually following it, like watching a movie that only exists inside your skull. Some researchers think the eye movements help stitch dream scenes together. Others think the movement is a byproduct of the brain switching between processing systems. Nobody is completely sure, which is honestly the correct energy for anything involving REM sleep. What we do know is that this stage is when your brain is almost as electrically active as when you're fully awake, yet your body is essentially paralyzed. Your mind is wide open, your eyes are sprinting, and your limbs are offline. Your body during REM is basically a very busy server farm that locked itself in a room and told the rest of the building to go away for a few hours. Active, chaotic, completely inaccessible. Number 7. Your body paralyses itself on purpose. While we're on the subject of REM, let's talk about the part where your brain deliberately switches off your muscles. During REM sleep, your brainstem sends signals that actively suppress motor neurons throughout your body. Your arms, your legs, your core, all voluntarily taken offline. The technical term is REM atonia, which sounds like a spa treatment and is in fact the reason you don't physically act out your dreams every single night. Think about that for a second. Your brain is generating full sensory experiences. You're running, fighting, flying, giving a presentation in your underwear, and the only reason your sleeping body isn't flailing around executing all of that is because a tiny region of your brainstem is standing at the door going, absolutely not. When that system malfunctions, you get REM sleep behavior disorder, a condition where people do actually act out their dreams. Punching, kicking, leaping out of bed, full-on shouting. There are documented cases of people injuring themselves and their partners while completely unconscious, essentially method acting in their own sleep. And when the paralysis system works too well, holding on for a few seconds after you've already woken up, you get sleep paralysis. You're conscious. You can't move a single muscle. You're stuck, wide awake, watching the ceiling, fully aware that your body has locked you out of your own motor controls like a bouncer who didn't get the memo. Some people see figures. Some hear voices. Some feel a crushing weight on their chest. Cultures around the world have their own names for this experience: the old hag, the nightmare, incubus and succubus mythology. All of them, across centuries, independently describing a shadow in the corner of a bedroom. All of them describing REM atonia running 5 seconds late, which somehow makes it creepier, not less. Number 6. You actually grow taller while you sleep. Okay, palate cleanser. Something delightfully strange instead of existentially terrifying. You are taller in the morning than you are at night. Measurably, by roughly half an inch to a full inch, depending on your height. Every single day, your spine compresses under the weight of you walking around being a vertical human, and every single night it decompresses while you're horizontal and unconscious. The intervertebral discs, those little cushiony pads between each vertebra, reabsorb fluid overnight when gravity isn't constantly squashing them. They plump back up. Your spine lengthens. You emerge from sleep technically a slightly taller person than the one who went to bed. Astronauts in space, without gravity compressing their spines at all, can grow up to 2 inches taller. They have to do back exercises just to stop their spines from expanding too aggressively. 2 inches. Gone when they land. And here's the kicker, this is also part of why children are told to sleep more. Human growth hormone, the stuff responsible for actual cellular growth, is released in its largest pulses during deep sleep. Your body treats sleep as its primary scheduled maintenance window. The repairs, the growth, the restoration of tissues, most of it happens while you're completely unaware it's going on. You are, in a very literal sense, being rebuilt every night, which would feel profound and beautiful, except that by 3 p.m. the same day, gravity has already started squashing you back down and you're back to your regular height, shuffling toward whatever meeting you didn't want to attend. The universe gives, and the universe takes away. Number 5. Your brain runs a nightly garbage truck. Your brain is the most metabolically active organ in your body. It burns through energy at a ferocious rate, and like anything that burns through energy, it produces waste. Toxic proteins. Metabolic byproducts. The neurological equivalent of yesterday's takeout containers piling up on the counter. During the day, while you're busy being a functioning person, that waste just accumulates. Your brain doesn't really have time to deal with it. It's too busy processing your commute and your coworkers' unsolicited opinions and whatever 17 things you forgot to do. But when you fall asleep, the cleaning crew arrives. Your brain has a system called the glymphatic system, a network of channels that, during deep sleep, floods with cerebrospinal fluid and quite literally washes the brain. The channels between brain cells expand by up to 60% while you sleep, allowing fluid to flow through and flush out the accumulated waste. Toxic proteins get swept out. Metabolic debris gets cleared. Your brain essentially pressure washes itself from the inside. Here's why this matters in the most unsettling possible way. One of the waste products the glymphatic system clears is beta amyloid, the protein that accumulates in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. Chronic sleep deprivation leads to beta amyloid buildup. Long-term sleep deprivation is associated with significantly increased risk of neurodegenerative disease. In other words, skimping on sleep doesn't just make you tired and irritable. It literally allows toxic proteins to pile up inside your skull. Your brain needs sleep to clean itself. And if it doesn't get it, the mess doesn't disappear. It just sits there compounding night after night. So the next time someone tells you sleep is a waste of time and successful people don't need it, you can let them know they're essentially arguing in favor of leaving the garbage inside the house. Forever. Because hustle culture. Number 4. Your throat quietly tries to suffocate you. Breathing. Simple, right? Automatic. You don't think about it, it just happens. In, out, your body handles it, no supervision required. Except that when you're asleep, the muscles in your throat relax. And when those muscles relax enough, the soft tissue at the back of your throat starts to sag. And when it sags enough, it narrows your airway. And when your airway narrows enough, your body registers oxygen dropping, triggers an emergency arousal response, you gasp or snort or choke yourself back to a lighter sleep, and then the whole cycle starts again. This is sleep apnea, and it affects an estimated 1 billion people worldwide. 1 billion. And the wild part is that most of them have no idea it's happening because the arousal events, the micro-awakenings where your body drags itself back from the edge, are often too brief to remember. You just wake up feeling inexplicably exhausted, like you slept for 8 hours inside a tumble dryer. Severe sleep apnea can cause hundreds of these events per night. Hundreds of times your oxygen drops. Hundreds of times your body has a small, quiet emergency. Hundreds of times you're yanked back just shy of proper sleep. And you remember none of it because consciousness doesn't fully return. Just enough brain activity to restart the breathing and keep you alive. It's not dramatic. There's no movie scene. It's just your throat, slowly, repeatedly, trying to close while you trust it not to, dozens of times per hour in the dark. Snoring, by the way, is just a less severe version of the same thing. Tissues vibrating as air forces its way through a partially obstructed airway. Charming. Romantic, even. Your body, ladies and gentlemen. A finely tuned machine. Number 3. Your heart forgets the rules. Most of the time, your heart operates on a reassuringly consistent schedule. Lube-dub, steady rhythm, reliable pump, very professional organ. During the day, your heart rate adjusts for activity. Faster when you move, slower when you rest. But it stays within predictable parameters and frankly does a solid job without any acknowledgement from you whatsoever. Then you go to sleep and it gets weird. During REM sleep, your heart rate becomes erratic. It speeds up, slows down, speeds up again, swinging in response to whatever your dreaming brain is generating. An intense dream sequence can spike your heart rate nearly as high as moderate physical exercise. Calm dream brings it back down. A sudden shift in dream content and your cardiovascular system lurches to keep up with a reality that isn't even real. Your heart, during REM sleep, is essentially responding to a film that only exists inside your head. It does not know the film is fictional. It does not care. Someone in your dream starts chasing you and your heart rate climbs like you are actually being chased. because as far as your autonomic nervous system is concerned, the distinction between dreaming and real is not its department. Beyond REM, deep sleep brings its own cardiac quirks. Heart rate drops significantly during slow-wave sleep, sometimes low enough to look alarming on a monitoring device. Blood pressure follows. The whole cardiovascular system takes its foot off the pedal in ways it never fully does during waking hours. Which is also, incidentally, why the majority of cardiac events, heart attacks, arrhythmias, occur in the early morning hours, during or just after that REM-heavy period when the heart has been doing its erratic, dream-chasing thing for hours. Your heart is not resting while you sleep. It's doing improv. Number 2. Your brain rewrites your memories overnight. You think you remember today. You think the version of events stored in your head right now is the accurate one, the faithful recording, the truth of what happened. And in a sense, it is, for now. But tonight, while you sleep, your brain is going to edit it. During sleep, particularly during the slow-wave deep sleep stages, your hippocampus, which is basically your brain's short-term filing system, replays the day's experiences and transfers them into long-term storage. This process is called memory consolidation, and it sounds clean and administrative until you find out what actually happens during the transfer. Your brain doesn't just copy the files, curates them. It strips emotional weight from some memories and amplifies it in others. It connects new information to older stored patterns, weaving today into the existing architecture of everything you've ever known. It makes decisions without consulting you about what matters, what fades, and how things are linked together. REM sleep appears to be especially involved in emotional memory processing. The theory is that during REM, memories are replayed in a neurochemical environment low in noradrenaline, the stress chemical, which effectively allows the brain to reprocess emotional experiences with some of the charge taken out. You relive events in a lower-stakes neurological context, and what comes out the other side is a memory that's been softened or sharpened or recontextualized. This is part of why sleep is such a powerful tool after trauma. And it's part of why sleep deprivation destroys not just your ability to make new memories, but your ability to accurately hold onto the ones you already have. The memories you wake up with tomorrow morning are not quite the same ones you went to sleep with tonight. Your brain spent the night rearranging the furniture and didn't leave a note. You trust it anyway. You don't really have a choice. Number 1. You briefly cease to exist. This is the one. The big one. The one that sounds philosophical until you actually think about it, and then it becomes the thing you lie awake thinking about, which is ironic given the subject matter. During the deepest stage of sleep, stage 3, slow-wave sleep, your brain produces large, slow delta waves. Your heart rate is at its lowest. Your body temperature has dropped. Your muscles are still. And your conscious self, the continuous internal narrative, the voice in your head, the sense of being you, is completely, totally offline. Not suppressed. Not muted. Gone. There is no experience during deep sleep. No sense of time passing. No awareness. No you watching from somewhere behind the eyes. The subjective experience of deep sleep is not darkness or silence. It's not an experience at all. It's a blank, a gap, an interruption in the thread of your consciousness that you never notice from the inside because there is no inside. Every night you do this voluntarily. You lie down, go through the stages, and for portions of that time, maybe an hour or more across the whole night, you simply aren't there. And then you come back, seamlessly, with no memory of the absence, and you make coffee and check your phone and go about your day as if nothing happened. The ancient Greeks called sleep the brother of death, which sounds melodramatic until you consider that the deepest sleep is, functionally, a temporary suspension of consciousness, a nightly rehearsal for the longest rest. And yet, it's also the most restorative thing your body does. The brain cleans itself. Memories consolidate. Tissues repair. Growth hormones pulse through your bloodstream. Your spine decompresses. Your emotional system resets. Everything that makes you a functional, coherent human being depends on that gap, on that temporary absence. You have to disappear every night just to keep existing. If that doesn't make sleep the strangest, most quietly profound thing your body does, nothing will. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.